When they start talking, when the people that who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get them. I'ma beat his ass.
He can't do shit.
For real. I better be quiet.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, don't ask, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like,
What do you have to do to get enough separation? That's a good question. It's going to be based on my training. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't give me the win, and I definitely have.
Tensions erupted when Gervonta Tank Davis stormed into the press conference, delivering an unfiltered warning to Lamont Roach. Shouting, "He's going to end Lamont," Davis stunned the crowd and ignited the room with raw emotion. The atmosphere crackled with intensity as the two fighters locked eyes, reigniting a fierce rivalry ahead of their anticipated rematch. Cameras flashed, fans held their breath, and it became clear that Davis wasn't there for show, he was there to make a statement. What followed was a fiery exchange of words that sent shockwaves through the boxing world, setting the stage for a grudge match driven by pride, unfinished business, and vengeance.
What's good, guys? Red Corner Boxing here. So the Ring Magazine has today confirmed that Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. 2 will take place on August 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a great fight. We need to see it again. Who wins it and how, lads? Let us know here on Red Corner Boxing.
Promoter Gary Jonas shed some light on the negotiations for the rematch. While he didn't give too many details, Jonas did say that the second bout between Davis and Roach Jr. is all but finalized. Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind: how close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal, and it's not far off.
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr., originally set for June 21, 2025, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, has been postponed. The delay was driven by multiple factors, most notably Davis's request for additional time to properly prepare for the high-stakes bout. Compounding the situation were financial difficulties faced by Premier Boxing Champions, the event's promoter, which further impacted scheduling. As a result, the fight has been rescheduled for August 16, 2025, with Las Vegas remaining the host city. The bout remains one of the year's most anticipated events, especially after their controversial draw in the first encounter.
How you think one coming up with Tank?
I hope he don't fight Lamont, actually. I hope he don't get in the ring with me. Because at the end of the day, if he lose, it's just going to look bad on the fight with me. So it's going to look like somebody else already did it.
You want Tank to knock you out, yo.
I
heard him say before. I didn't say, like, yo, I want to fight Tank, and that's nice, but why do you want Tank to knock you out so bad? Like,
look, that sound good. That sound real good, but she's too little.
Too little.
I promise you, too.
Lamont is signed and ready to go for the rematch, correct?
Y'all can't play so many head games. It's not even funny. Let me tell you something, bro. Lamont Roach has never been this big of a fighter before. Everyone knows Lamont Roach. So he could be reaping the benefits of just enjoying his status of having that draw with Tank, while Tank is the one with the eye of the tiger. Tank is probably in the gym training his ass up, and then sign the contract like, all right, we got to fight when June. Oh shit, let's hurry up and dash your ass. Sugar Ray Leonard did that to Roberto Duran. Duran was told that he had a fight in a couple weeks, and he was like, dude, I'm 190 pounds and pounds. Which is why Roberto Duran was out of shape in the No Mas fight. It was like No Mas. So Tank could be over there working, sign the contract in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden Lamont Roach got to put a training camp together.
Their first clash on March 1, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn ended in a majority draw, leaving fans and analysts sharply divided. One judge scored the fight 115-113 for Davis, while the other two had it even at 114-114. The bout was defined by a controversial moment in the 9th round, when Davis took a knee following a jab from Roach. The referee chose not to rule it a knockdown, a decision that ignited heated debate among boxing enthusiasts and added fuel to an already intense rivalry.
For me, Tank Davis fighting a -1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting the referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. You know, earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of the sport.
Davis attributed his underwhelming performance to several distractions, including irritation in his eyes from hair products and the unexpected absence of ring girls, which he claimed threw off his focus. Despite these issues, he took responsibility for the outcome, admitting, "I could have definitely done more, that's on me."
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, you know? And plus the corner go up and they put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business.
Critics argue that Davis deliberately took a knee in the 9th round against Roach as a strategic move to disrupt his opponent's rhythm and shift the momentum of the fight. By going down voluntarily, Davis may have been buying himself a few extra seconds to recover instead of risking being overwhelmed by Roach's relentless pressure. Many fans and analysts interpret the move as a savvy, veteran tactic aimed at halting Roach's surge and regaining control.
And to go ahead and keep it real with y'all, I think that knee that Tank took was because Lamont Roach was in a rhythm and Gervonta Davis tried to throw this man off a rhythm. Do I believe the Murray's sport waves, the soul glow was in his eye? Absolutely not. I believe that man Tank got nerve-eyed and said, hold on, this man Lamont Roach is cooking. I need to take me a quick timeout and a quick break. It's nasty, it's horrible, it's disgusting. It's bad enough how hard and difficult it is to beat this man. Most fighters is weight trained, most fighters has clauses on them. So when somebody who's coming up is able to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis, you handicap the man with trash rulings.
Davis clarified that the incident was caused by a hair treatment he had undergone 2 days before the fight. He explained that the grease from the treatment mixed with his sweat during the match, leading to a burning sensation in his eyes. Addressing the crowd's reaction during the post-fight interview, Davis voiced his frustration over the boos, stressing that his actions were an honest reaction to the unexpected discomfort, not a calculated move to influence the flow of the fight.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that, or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
The explanation has sparked mixed reactions among fans and analysts, with many questioning whether the moment should have been ruled a knockdown, regardless of the cause. The controversy surrounding the Gervonta Davis vs. Lamont Roach fight has only intensified, as the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, has officially opened a review of the bout's outcome. According to Boxing Kingdom, technical difficulties initially prevented an immediate evaluation of the critical 9th round moment when Davis took a knee. Many argue that had it been properly ruled a knockdown in Roach's favor, it could have significantly impacted the final decision.
Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won.
Following the controversial draw, Lamont Roach's team filed an official appeal with the Athletic Commission, seeking to overturn the decision. The appeal focused on a critical incident in the 9th round, when Gervonta Davis took a knee after absorbing a jab from Roach. Referee Steve Willis began a count but abruptly stopped at 3, allowing Davis to return to his corner, where his trainer wiped his eyes, an action that violates standard boxing protocol. Davis later explained that grease from a recent hair treatment had dripped into his eyes, impairing his vision and prompting the unexpected move.
It ain't no timeouts in boxing. Why are you taking? You know that. You should know that. So that's the thing where I'm like confused, because that's supposed to be a knockdown. That's a 10-8 round. If that's a 10-8 round, I win the fight. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that draw turned into a 115, 114 my way.
going in, okay, it's round 10, right? You see that you down on the scorecard.
George Kambosos Jr. didn't hold back in his critique of Gervonta Davis following the controversial draw against Lamont Roach Jr. Kambosos praised Roach's impressive performance, emphasizing his skill, toughness, and ability to push Davis in a way few opponents have. He questioned whether Davis is truly capable of handling elite-level competition, especially after such a closely contested bout. The fight's most debated moment came in the 9th round, when Davis took a knee but was not ruled for a knockdown, fueling controversy and leading many in the boxing world to argue that Roach should have walked away with the win.
Make it that fight on the weekend, what do you make of the controversy in that one?
Look, I had just finished my recovery session, so I was pretty docile and relaxed, and then the fight, especially at the start of it, wasn't too thrilling and too action-packed, so I was starting to doze off a little bit, but I woke up a little bit more when obviously Lamont started giving him some work, and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring. And again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, yeah, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily...
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto.
Jake Paul has confirmed that if Gervonta Tank Davis secures a win in his rematch against Lamont Roach, talks will resume for a potential exhibition bout between the two. Despite a significant weight gap, Paul competes at cruiserweight, 195 pounds, and Davis at lightweight, 135 pounds. The proposed fight would be a 10-round exhibition. The matchup was previously close to being finalized but was postponed following Davis's controversial draw with Roach. If both fighters win their upcoming bouts, the exhibition could take place later this year. In preparation for his rematch, Davis isn't taking any chances. He's enlisted the expertise of Kenny Ellis, one of boxing's most respected trainers, known for his discipline, sharp technical insight, and no-nonsense approach. Under Ellis's watchful eye, Davis is refining his technique and building stamina, determined not to repeat past mistakes. Ellis is expected to be in Davis's corner on fight night, ensuring strategic adjustments are made in real time. With Ellis's demanding training regimen and Davis's renewed focus, fans can expect to see the most dangerous version of Tank yet.
But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Reuniting with coach Calvin Ford has brought a new energy to Tank Davis's camp. Their connection goes far beyond boxing, it's built on years of trust and shared experience. Coach Calvin has been instrumental in Tank's journey, transforming his raw talent into a polished, relentless fighter. Behind every major victory Davis has achieved, Coach Calvin has been there, quietly pulling the strings and guiding him every step of the way.
Who's doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing. And the fight is going to be similar, but hey, the fight at the same time is going to be very different. Now, I just happen to have a very good friend named Phoenix the Assassin who breaks down fights for me. He's a trainer, got a world-class eye for fights. And what he speculated should be the difference between the first fight and the second fight for Gervonta is that Gervonta is going to need to spend a lot more time fighting on the outside and scoring points for a longer period of time on the outside, and then making sure that, and basically forcing Lamont Roach to try to initiate something with slower hands, score his points, and get out. And he said the reason that he believes that Lamont Roach would be able to do that.
Veteran boxing commentator Jim Lampley voiced doubts about Roach's chances in their rematch even before their first fight. He pointed to Davis's crafty southpaw style, clever footwork, and unmistakable killer instinct as major advantages. Lampley also highlighted Davis's devastating punching power, comparing his knockouts to those of a young Mike Tyson. While acknowledging Roach as a skilled and competent boxer, Lampley suggested he would face a tough challenge against Davis's overwhelming prowess.
All right, Sean Patel here with the legendary Jim Lampley, PPV.com, and called a controversial draw tonight. The crowd inside Barclays, they did not like it. What did you think of the verdict, Jim? Was it the right call?
An upset draw is always a mixed bag for fans, for people in the sport, etc., etc. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots.
Roberto Diaz, advisor to Lamont Roach Jr., recognized the formidable challenge that Davis poses, calling him one of the world's top fighters. While Diaz acknowledged Davis's impressive record and devastating power, he also expressed strong confidence in Roach's abilities. He pointed to Roach's extensive experience, including his solid amateur background, and the significant improvements he's made since their last meeting. Diaz believes that Roach's familiarity with Davis, combined with his own growth as a fighter, could be crucial factors in the upcoming rematch.
James trying for the untouchable, true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. All right, Brendan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with Roberto Diaz. Roberto, good to see you as always.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, for sure. You're part of Lamont Roach's camp. Well, what's your official role for Lamont
I'm an
Roach?
advisor for him.
Okay, so you guide him on how to make certain decisions?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been together for many years since his pro debut back in the days at Golden Boy, and after we both parted ways, we hooked up.
Okay, that's pretty interesting because, you know, now that you guys are not with Golden Boy, you're still together. So
absolutely,
you guys must have had a good relationship when you were at Golden Boy.
Always had a good relationship with him and his father, and obviously I'm honored and just, you know, honored to be a part of him. And when I got the call to continue working with him, it was a no-brainer for me.
A lot of the boxing media and the boxing fans are overlooking Lamont Roach, and they're angry that Tank isn't getting fights against Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, these kind of guys. But what can you, from someone that's been with him from the beginning, what can you say about the talent level of Lamont Roach?
I don't blame the fans, but it's a little bit of the unknown for them. It's a little bit of they don't know who he is. On Saturday night, they're going to know who he is, they're going to respect him, and they're going to become fans. One thing about Lamont is he fought all the styles. The kid has the talent, the kid has the want, but he's never had the opportunity to be on this type of stage. Now it is. Now it's on him. He's put in the work, the talent's there, the hunger's there. He knows what a win means. And here's where it's important. The fans are okay not to know, because until they are introduced, like they know who Shakur is, they know who these other guys is. They'll know on Saturday. But most importantly, Tank knows what he's facing because he brought in two of the best trainers in boxing. Not one, but two, because he knows what he has in front of him.
Kenny Ellis, a coach in Davis's camp, defended the decision to face Roach, highlighting Roach's impressive credentials as a 7-time national champion with an outstanding pedigree. Ellis acknowledged that some fans may be critical of the matchup, but warned that underestimating Roach would be a serious mistake. He emphasized that both fighters have evolved since their amateur days, suggesting the rematch will be a true test of their growth and adaptability.
Do you feel like that fight with
Tank, the rematch with Roach, is bigger than perhaps a Shakur Stevenson fight now?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me why.
Yeah,
Tell me.
he got in the ring. He got in the ring with Tank with no hesitation.
Okay.
For the hell of a fight. You know, everybody want to see it again, and Shakur's last 3 fights, they criticized him. You know, because of his style of fight. No offense to him, but this is the reality. People criticize because of the way he fight. You know what I mean? And they don't want to see that. They'd rather see Roach again. You know.
Who do you think will come out on top this time? Share your thoughts in the comments below.